15 years earlier, on a freezing winter night in New York City, 11-year-old Elijah Carter, a homeless black boy, sat alone beneath the awning of an abandoned building, trying to keep warm with a thin blanket. He had spent months surviving on donated food and odd jobs after losing both of his parents. Despite everything, Elijah still carried a small notebook where he wrote one sentence every night. "One day, my life will change." Across the street, a convoy of black luxury SUVs stopped outside a private charity gala. Their passenger was Isabella Romano, a 46-year-old businesswoman known publicly as the owner of a powerful international logistics company. Rumors surrounded her influence, causing newspapers to nickname her the Mafia Queen, though nothing had ever been proven in court. She was respected, feared, and constantly watched by the media. As Isabella entered the building, she noticed Elijah quietly giving half of his only sandwich to an elderly homeless veteran. She stopped walking. Her security chief whispered, "Ma'am, we're late." Isabella ignored him. Instead, she crossed the street and knelt beside Elijah. "You're hungry," she said softly. Elijah smiled. So was he. She looked at the empty sandwich wrapper in his hand. "You gave away your dinner." He shrugged. He needed it more. For a long moment, Isabella said nothing. She had spent decades surrounded by powerful people who always wanted something in return. This boy had nothing, yet he still chose kindness. That night, she arranged temporary housing for Elijah. Weeks later, after every legal requirement was completed and with the approval of child welfare authorities, Isabella became his legal guardian. She enrolled him in one of the best schools in New York and encouraged him to study law instead of joining the family business. "I don't want you to inherit my reputation," she often told him. "I want you to build your own." Elijah took those words to heart. He graduated at the top of his class, earned a law degree, and became one of the youngest defense attorneys in the state. Meanwhile, Isabella transformed her company into a respected global logistics business, leaving behind every questionable relationship from her past. But old enemies never forgot. 15 years after the night they first met, federal prosecutors announced a massive fraud case against Isabella's company. Television cameras surrounded the courthouse. Reporters declared that her business empire was about to collapse. As Isabella entered the courtroom, she noticed dozens of lawyers representing powerful corporations waiting against her. Then the courtroom doors opened once more. A confident 26-year-old attorney carrying a single leather briefcase walked inside. It was Elijah. He looked at Isabella and smiled. "Mom, I'll handle this." The courtroom fell silent as Elijah approached the defense table. Some attorneys exchanged amused smiles. "He's too young," one whispered. "He doesn't stand a chance." The judge welcomed both sides and allowed opening arguments. Prosecutors claimed Isabella had secretly controlled illegal financial transactions through shell companies years earlier. They presented stacks of documents and insisted her company had been built on fraud. Elijah listened without interruption. When it was his turn, he calmly stood. "Your Honor," he began, "every accusation depends on records that my client supposedly approved." He paused. "Those records were forged." The courtroom murmured. Elijah requested permission to display certified digital archives, financial audits, and sworn testimony collected over the previous 6 months. One by one, he demonstrated that signatures had been altered, timestamps manipulated, and several key witnesses had been paid to provide false statements. The judge watched carefully. Even the prosecutors appeared surprised. Finally, Elijah called the company's former cybersecurity director to the witness stand. Under oath, the witness admitted that hackers working for a rival business group had inserted fake financial records years earlier to destroy Isabella's reputation. The courtroom became completely silent. After several hours of testimony, the judge dismissed every major allegation against Isabella due to insufficient credible evidence and ordered a criminal investigation into those responsible for fabricating the documents. Outside the courthouse, reporters rushed toward Elijah. "How did you prepare such a strong defense?" He smiled. "The woman sitting beside me taught me something 15 years ago." "What was that?" "Never walk past someone who needs help." Inside the courthouse, Isabella embraced Elijah. "I thought I rescued you," she whispered. Elijah shook his head. "No, you gave me a future, and today, I simply protected my family." News of the trial spread across the country. Headlines praised the young attorney who had dismantled a complex case through preparation, patience, and the rule of law. That evening, Isabella and Elijah returned to the same neighborhood where they had first met. The old building was gone. In its place stood a community center providing meals, legal aid, and educational support for homeless children. A bronze plaque beside the entrance read, "One act of kindness can change 2 lives forever." Elijah smiled as children laughed inside the center. 15 years earlier, he had been a hungry boy with nothing but hope. Now he was living proof that compassion, opportunity, and justice could build a legacy far stronger than fear or power.